Opportunity knocks. Andy and Brody are protecting two different fields from the same spot. Dirty Secret is back with some pre-wildfowling season checks. First up, it's dogs and training.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
We've got news Stump, we've got hunting YouTube. Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Crow is going to need eyes in the back of his head today because it's not just one crop in need of protecting, but two, side by side. However, we are using a Beretta over and under. See what we did there?
Future world champion there.
Instead of splitting himself down the middle, Andy's invited Brody Wizard Woollard along to give him a helping hand to push the birds off the lucern and fallen barley.
We've had to take out a loan to buy a load of food to keep him going because he's a growing lad. The plan is the wind's coming through from 45 degrees through here today. So we're going to put a pattern out on the barley, a pattern out here, hopefully fly some as they're coming up through. We've got a few new bits to try out today. Got some new hide poles from UK Shoot Warehouse. I've had a chat with them. The spike that goes in the ground, I said to them, wasn't quite long enough. So what they've done, they've made them a bit longer. It doesn't look a lot, but a little bit is a lot in my eyes.
So for those non-farmers among us, Andy will explain the appeal of these crops at this time of year.
They put this lucerne in to grow as silage, and as you can see, it's similar to clover, and the pigeons love it. We get a bit of shooting on it through the winter. They've got several acres of it here, and they just seem to be dropping on this, having a bit of this, and then dropping back over onto the barley. They prefer wheat to barley, but this is the first stuff that's gone flat, and it's the first stuff to get any goodness in it, so that's why they're feeding on it. That's what an ear should look like, and that's what it does look like when the pigeons have been on it. They've been hammering it quite a bit. You can see here, all these are empty, look. That's what it should look like, that's what it does look like.
Now, last year Brody was Andy's young Jedi, but this year David is gallivanting with the wildfowlers, so has asked our young Jedi, Alex, to film Mr. C. Not that Andy would take advantage of the situation, of course.
And by the way, we've got a new cameraman today. His name's Alex. He's more reliable than David. He was here on It's something David doesn't do. He usually gets Right, let's get on.
The wind is blowing hard and the pigeons are at full pelt, which should make for some exciting shooting. We're using the shot cam again, and hopefully you can see the difference in speed of gun and lead Crow gives the birds depending on range.
Also, this one I just shot, it's got, that's not even half a crop of barley, and that's just one pigeon, so you imagine what they're getting, the amount of pigeons there is about here at the moment.
Brody is shooting well in the hide and on the circuit. Unfortunately, it's getting to the point he can't remember all his successes.
So what have you won this year?
I won the young shot of the year.
Shot of the year,
yeah. And I won the Essex Masters under 16s, and what's that big trophy called? The young shots. The young shot.
Cut.
Cool.
Right. Pigeon went down past us, had the wind up its backside. It's gone right down. It's in the decoys. It's swung on its back on itself. It's come right up like I was hoping they would. It's come right up along the hedge, but it's just swung out there. Brody's picked it off lovely. He's had a couple of nice ones come up through, come up from the bottom of the valley like I was hoping. Where they come through here, he's nailed them as well. So we're starting to get one or two to set out as decoys, which is good. We're using it, Game Boy Pigeon Extremes we're using at the moment. just to get a few in the bag. But once they start decoying, we'll be straight on to clear pigeon. We'll stick some clear pigeon in and use those.
After about 100 birds, they're preparing to call it a day.
Brody shot his socks off today as usual. He shot some real screamers. A couple there that he shot were coming from behind with the wind up their backsides, and they were going like stink, and he absolutely poleaxed them. Yours, Brody? Yeah, close on 100, I think.
How have you found it today, Brody? Enjoyed it?
Oh yeah, really enjoyed it, as per usual. It's been great laugh.
The thing is, Alex, you've been here all day, and usually David, he's got enough for dinner, that's it. He's hot tails it off. So I think you've done a good job.
I think Crow misses David, who is off to South Africa in a few days' time to lodge it round the safari ranches, flouncing about with a big camera. Well, let's hope the injections hurt. And here he is, David, on the Fieldsports Channel News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Channel News. A hunt saboteur who attacked a terrierman has been given an absolute discharge. Gwyneth Humphreys pleaded guilty at Dundee Sheriff Court on a summary complaint to a charge of behaving in a threatening and abusive manner, as this video shows. David Beckham has caught a salmon. Here he is with the fish. A British Member of Parliament has been diagnosed with the deer stalker's horror, Lyme disease, after a chance conversation with a constituent. Michelle Donnellan, Conservative MP for Chippenham, was bitten by a tick after a weekend away in Latvia. She noticed a rash on her upper arm and now has symptoms of severe tiredness and feeling sick. At her constituency surgery, a chance conversation led her to finding out what was causing it. A pride of lions in Zimbabwe has killed 5 poachers and injured 3 others. The poachers were illegally hunting elephants in Hwange National Park. Local Police Commissioner General Augustine Chiluri described the scene as a horrible bloodbath, with bones and flesh scattered over hundreds of square metres. The surviving poachers face up to 25 years in prison if they survive their injuries. And finally, 5 years after he did it, a pigeon fancier is in court charged with poisoning a peregrine. Smearing the bird with a banned pesticide smuggled in from Serbia, the Swiss pigeon fancier let it go so that it would be killed and eaten by a marauding falcon, which in turn would die from the poison. It did, as this Zurich Nest Cam footage shows. The pigeon fancier is in court facing 11 months in prison. You are up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.
Thank you, David. Don't get eaten. Next up, it's wildfowling's dirty secrets. It's the wildfowling warm-up, with just a few weeks before Nick and Matt and their faithful companions feel the mud between their toes, and we need to get things shipshape and Bristol fashion. Over the coming weeks, we'll be picking up all sorts of tips to ensure a safe, efficient and exciting wildfowling trip. First, dogs, and Matt and Nick have 2 dogs from the same litter. However, Matt is sure that Jet is 7, but Nick's wife says Cash is 6. We know who we believe. So let's kick off with some simple training techniques.
So at the moment he's got his nose on the floor, probably smelling all the foxes that are here. He doesn't know I've dropped that dummy there. Jet, yeah. Boy. So I'll sit him up. Good dog. So as far as he's concerned, there's no dummies anywhere at the minute. He doesn't know that there's one just back there. I've kind of placed that slightly stupidly because it's right in front of Nick and Cash, who might be more interested in the dummy, but we'll see. So let's throw that one. So he now thinks that is the only dummy that's here. So this is an exercise in trust. So he hopefully will listen to me. He will, I know he will, but it's an exercise in trust that he will, as he's going out a distance appreciate that I know that there's something there, even though he has seen a retrieve or a bird that's in front of him. So let's have a go. Boy. Get! Yeah, he's seen it. Good dog! So you can understand in principle what that does. You puppy, 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 good boy! Come on then! Hold it. Dead. Good dog! Good dog! And what I do now with mine is I let him have a little bit of freedom. That's it, he's off. He'll run around in circles now, like a nut.
Stay.
Things are looking promising, and obviously labs are a sensible choice for a wildfowler.
I prefer Labradors. I find them easier to train, and there's a bit of a cop-out, to be fair. Spaniels are a lot of hard work, but I do know of a good few Spaniels, and they're excellent fowling dogs. A few of my friends have got brilliant springers, and one's got a sprocker, it's also very good. I think anybody that's got a Spaniel will probably agree that the Lab has probably got a better coat for fowling than the Spaniel has. Their coats can be a little bit thin. You can get over that with a jacket. I put one on him when it's really cold. They love water. I think that's the most important thing. They love water, and they just want to work for you in a retrieving environment. So, yeah.
Nick has also enjoyed flat-coated retrievers and Chesapeakes, but price is a factor here.
Chesapeakes, because of their comparative rarity, fetch a lot of money. 700, 800, 900, maybe £1,000 for a puppy. I can't justify spending that when I can get a decent working lab for 450. Hence the three-toed sloth here. Distance work with a wildfowling dog is obviously quite important. He's got 2 speeds normally, which is slow and stop. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And he spends most of his life asleep. Today's, oh look at that fox over there. I'm glad you've seen that, because I'm going to blame the scent of that fox on today's exceedingly poor performance by my dog. He was thrown off by the scent of that animal and its its cubs. That's one of the best excuses for an exceedingly poor training session that I think I've ever come up with.
Colour and camouflage are often given as a reason for dog choice. Nick thinks that the fox red works well on the marsh, but Matt believes it's more about movement.
I don't feel the colour of a dog really makes a lot of difference. I know a lot of people will swear by yellow labs or red labs because of the way that they'll disappear in a marsh environment, but for me it's movement, and if the dog's not moving and the dog's sitting still, by the time a duck has realised that you've got a dog sat next to you, it should be dead anyway.
OK, the chocolate elephant in the room is of course the chocolate lab. Matt, your thoughts?
It's always a difficult subject to broach, the chocolate Labrador one, without offending people. So whatever I say at the minute is not intended to offend people, but I've yet to see, and if somebody has one, prove me wrong and show me, and I'm not an expert in dog training, but I know a little bit, a working Labrador that's chocolate. That's what a decent one anyway, that hasn't got a screw loose, to be fair. If I offend anybody, I apologise, but yeah, prove me wrong.
Please add your comments about chocolate labs below, and please be polite, this is a family show. Back to Nick and some other wildfowling specific traits.
You'll probably notice that my dog isn't particularly trained to walk to heel. If, as I often do, you're walking across mud flats, the last thing that you want is a dog that's continually bumping into the back of your leg, or even worse, you tread on its foot with a pair of mud pattens. You can actually injure the dog, not to mention tripping yourself up flat on your face. The other one is, of course, that the dog, it's a very useful depth gauge, because I know that when I see the dog take his feet off the bottom and start to swim, I know that at that point, depending on the amount of mud that there is in the bottom of the creek, but I know then that I need to be very careful if I'm wearing thigh waders that I don't go over the top of them.
Retrieving is obviously key for a wildfowling dog, as is being a good swimmer, but so is patience.
When you've got a peg dog, there's banging going off constantly, bang, 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 bang. You've got pheasants coming over, we'll use that as an example. And there's always something for the dog to see and something for the dog to do. With a fowling dog, 9 times out of 10, they would have sat there for 2 hours before anybody even fires a shot. and you'll have nothing, and all of a sudden a duck will explode out from behind you, and as you do, you just throw the gun up, off, straight through, have a go. So trying to keep a dog steady in that situation is always very difficult, and again, it's another thing that a fowling dog has to be able to do.
So a wildfowling dog has to have a specific skill set, doesn't mind being cold, bored and still, but when it all kicks off, has the ability to do one of the most dangerous and exhausting retrieves a working dog will do. Simple. Thank you, Nick and Matt. And now to the wider world of hunting and shooting on YouTube. It is Hunting YouTube. This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. This is the latest from Jakt Total's recent trip to Namibia. Actually, Carsten sent me his real latest, a film about shooting black mambas, but it caused such controversy he had to take it down. We did a snake shooting film once, not a lot of love for the sport, we discovered. Lots in the press recently about rich Arab attitudes to hunting in Africa. This film is in Arabic, but it gives a first-hand account, not the jingoistic tripe you read. It is not the same as the way we hunt in the West, but it is a way of hunting, and he has got 800,000 followers on Instagram. Can't argue with that. There is a new US hunting show out on YouTube. This is episode 3 of Boars and Hunters from the Hunting Unlimited channel. They have really put in the hours. I don't love the commentary. It's a bit throaty and American in a Walt Disney 1950s true life adventurers kind of way, but that's probably because I'm British. Tim from Hunting Room produces some lovely photography in this film, Bokjakt 2016 in 4K. He is hunting in Poland. He doesn't show the shots, but it's an absorbing watch. Josh James and friends go chamois hunting in New Zealand in Josh's constant battle to make his YouTube channel pay. This is part 1 where they don't get one. Indeed, they don't see one. Part 2 where they do get one is out on Patreon. Feel your pain, man. Waffenland TV is after a medal wild boar from a high seat. The Kylers are there, and he even films them sparring. It's not an amazing shot, but a good follow-up. Here are a few shots on Scottish rabbits with a CZ45517 HMR by Glas Vegas 101. He does a good job getting the close-ups. And finally, my favourite rubber man, Jörg Sprava, is back with the deadliest steampunk pistol ever? Usually you see a question mark in a headline and you can bet the answer is no. Is Prince Philip gay? No. Is Britain all washed up following Brexit? No. But this is Jörg, the human embodiment of the sap from Javier Brasiliensis, so that's a happy, fat, vulcanised yes. That's it for this week. If you have a YouTube film you would like us to pop into the weekly top 8, send it in via YouTube or email me the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. Well, that is it for this week. If you haven't done so already, please go to our website, fieldsportschannel.tv, where you can click to subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Facebook or poke us on Twitter or any of those things, or even pop your email address into our constant contact box on our register page. We'll constantly contact you about this show, Fieldsports Britain. It comes out 7 p.m. UK time every Wednesday, and this has been Fieldsports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and from Austria, goodbye.